Gerald Rudolph Ford Jr., the 38th President of the United States, left an indelible mark on American history through his unique ascent to power and his steady leadership during a tumultuous era. Born on July 14, 1913, in Omaha, Nebraska, Ford's presidency, from 1974 to 1977, was marked by the aftermath of the Watergate scandal, economic challenges, and complex international issues. In this biography, we delve into Ford's early life, his career in politics, and the enduring legacy he left on the nation. Gerald Ford was originally named Leslie Lynch King Jr. His parents' divorce when he was an infant led his mother, Dorothy Gardner, to remarry to Gerald R. Ford Sr., who subsequently adopted young Leslie and gave him his new name. Gerald Rudolph Ford Jr. Raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Ford developed a strong work ethic and a passion for sports, particularly football. His athletic prowess earned him college scholarship offers from professional football teams, but he opted to pursue higher education. Ford enrolled at the University of Michigan, where he excelled academically and athletically. As a standout football player for the Wolverines, he earned the nickname Jerry the Ford. In 1935, he graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in economics. Although he received offers to play in the National Football League, Ford chose to follow his passion for the law. In 1941, with the attack on Pearl Harbor, Gerald Ford answered the call of duty and enlisted in the U.S. Navy. He served during World War II, stationed aboard the aircraft carrier USS Monterey in the Pacific Theater. Ford participated in significant battles and earned commendations for his service. By the war's end, he held the rank of lieutenant commander. Following World War II, Ford returned to Michigan and resumed his legal career. He joined a prominent law firm and ventured into local politics. In 1948, he made his debut in electoral politics by running for and winning a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives as a Republican. Gerald Ford's tenure in the House of Representatives would span an impressive 25 years, making him one of the longest-serving members in its history. In Congress, Ford was recognized as a diligent and principled legislator who worked effectively across the aisle. As a moderate Republican, he collaborated with members of both parties to pass significant legislation. Ford's role as the House Minority Leader from 1965 to 1973 was pivotal. During this period, he championed civil rights, playing a crucial role in the passage of landmark legislation such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Additionally, Ford advocated for a robust U.S. military presence during the Cold War, further solidifying his reputation as a skilled statesman. In 1973, the United States was gripped by the Watergate scandal, which ultimately culminated in the resignation of President Richard Nixon. With Vice President Spiro Agnew also resigning earlier due to corruption allegations, the vice presidency was vacant. Gerald Ford, as the House Minority Leader, found himself next in line for the presidency according to the Presidential Succession Act. On October 12, 1973, President Nixon nominated Gerald Ford to be the new vice president. Ford's nomination was approved by both the House and the Senate, and he was sworn in on December 6, 1973. This historic moment marked Ford as the first person to hold the office of vice president under the 25th Amendment to the Constitution, which had been ratified just a few years earlier, clarifying the process of presidential succession. Less than a year later, on August 9, 1974, President Nixon resigned in the face of almost certain impeachment by the House of Representatives and a Senate trial related to his involvement in the Watergate scandal. Gerald Ford, now vice president, was thrust into the role of president. In his inaugural address, President Ford memorably declared, "My fellow Americans, our long national nightmare is over." He set out to bring stability and healing to a nation deeply divided by the Watergate scandal and the Vietnam War. Ford's presidency was defined by his efforts to restore confidence in the government and promote transparency and integrity. President Ford confronted numerous challenges during his time in office. The U.S. economy grappled with high inflation and unemployment, while the nation still bore the scars of the Vietnam War. Ford implemented economic policies aimed at curbing inflation and stimulating economic growth, but these efforts yielded mixed results. One of Ford's most controversial decisions was his pardon of Richard Nixon on September 8, 1974. He believed that a lengthy trial of the former president would only further divide the nation and impede its ability to move forward. While the pardon faced significant criticism at the time, Ford defended it as an act of healing and reconciliation. In the realm of foreign policy, Ford navigated a complex international landscape. He oversaw the fall of South Vietnam to communist forces and the evacuation of American personnel from Saigon in 1975. Concurrently, Ford worked to strengthen U.S. relations with Israel while pursuing peace negotiations in the Middle East. In 1976, Gerald Ford sought a full term as president, facing off against the Democratic nominee, Jimmy Carter. The election was closely contested, but Carter ultimately emerged victorious. Ford's decision to pardon Nixon and his inability to fully resolve the country's economic problems were key factors contributing to his defeat. Following his departure from the presidency in January 1977, Gerald Ford retired from politics and returned to private life. He and his wife, Betty Ford, who had been an advocate for breast cancer awareness and addiction treatment during her time as First Lady, continued their public service through the establishment of the Gerald R. Ford Foundation and the Betty Ford Center, a renowned addiction treatment facility. Gerald Ford also authored his memoirs, A Time to Heal, offering reflections on his time in office and the challenges he faced. He remained engaged in public life, making occasional appearances and speaking on various issues, both domestic and international. Gerald Ford's legacy endures as that of a dedicated public servant and leader who stepped up during a turbulent period in American history. His ability to bring a sense of stability and integrity to the presidency is remembered as a crucial chapter in the nation's history. In his later years, Ford was recognized for his statesmanship, receiving numerous honors and awards, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He passed away on December 26, 2006, in Rancho Mirage, California, at the age of 93. Gerald Ford's legacy as a principled leader and his commitment to transparency and integrity in government continue to resonate in the annals of American history. His presidency serves as a reminder of the resilience of American democracy and the importance of strong leadership during challenging times.